So this is Canada's first automated restaurant opening in Toronto. Okay, can you see it well on the screen?
Yeah, can, yeah. And Toronto's a great city, so is another reason to go to Toronto.
You gotta wonder if this is going to be the future of restaurant takeout in Canada. We're here at what's being built as the country's
Can you hear it?
completely automated restaurant where you don't have to touch anything. It's called Boxed, from the guys behind Paramount, famous for their Middle Eastern food. Located at Yonge and King, the idea is super COVID friendly, shall we say, in that you don't have to touch anything. So there's basically three ways to order. You can.
They say that, and then they're touching the screen.
Exactly, I thought the same thing. Like, oh, they just said that the guy didn't need to touch anything, and then the first thing you see is a guy touching the screen. Say, oh no.
Online, or you can come in the store, take out your cell phone, and point it at the QR code, and the menu automatically comes up right on your phone. You can order here without having to touch anything in the store. Alternatively, you can also use one of the kiosks that you're seeing in more and more restaurants these days. These are cleaned after every use. Once you place your order, the chefs get to work in the back, and your order appears in one of these cubbies here. You see, you got my name on it right here. And then all you do is just tap twice, and lunch is served. And these boxes, by the way, they clean, they say, after every single use. Every meal is sealed in a biodegradable box, keeping cleanliness top of mind. It's an idea the owner says came about even before the pandemic hit.
It was on the work because there is a lot of issue in the restaurant industry where we have bottleneck, especially in busy places. So we can put out in the same 3 hour of busy time, many more orders because we have so many cubbies and so many real chefs in the back.
You never thought about maybe I can have a robot chef?
I cannot do that. It doesn't align with our culture. It doesn't align with what I believe in. I believe in people. People always come first for me. And I'll never support something that's robotic and takes away people or takes away a job.
Mohammed Petit contends that having more chefs in the back will help get the menu items, things like black truffle hummus and chimichurri strip loin wraps, out a lot faster. A recent survey found 52% of Canadians are in no hurry to return to eateries. But Petit thinks this concept, which he plans to grow, will get nervous diners through the door. He's confident the battered and bruised Canadian restaurant industry can bounce back.
It's very difficult for the restaurant industry, and it's not going to be easy. And we're going to need help as an industry in general for much longer than any other industry. But the biggest help we can do to everyone out there, support local, support the restaurant industry.
So they describe this as modern Middle Eastern cuisine. The entrees range anywhere from about 11 to 15 bucks. Box here at Yonge and King opens on Thursday. Richard, Southern City News, Toronto.
Well, I should say, William, I kind of feel hungry after watching that.
Yeah.
So from that, I think the owner, the manager's got a great idea, great concept, love it.
And you can feel the passion on the guy, right?
What's that?
You can feel his passion.
Exactly. Yeah. I think though that eventually the food production is going to be more automated, and so because there is effectively an anonymity between the kitchen and the ordering experience. I love it that you can order online through an app. I mean, that's clearly a good way to go. Especially from a cleanliness standpoint. So, touching a screen doesn't make so much sense, but ordering through the app, it's just so much more efficient. And there's so many times someone will get an order wrong, which is what costs a restaurant money, if they've got to redo a meal. So doing it through the app makes a lot of sense. Putting all of that screening between customers and the kitchen makes a lot of sense. It does feel as though the back end, depending on labor costs, might be automated in time.
Yeah, I agree. And I'm worried about because I feel his passion, and he's keeping in check his automations and the systems that he put in place, so people will not lose their jobs. And
Yes.
And you can see he's trying that. But of course, you can only try so far that the business model works. and maybe he'll have to semi-automatize or not. And
well, he's probably got time. He's probably got time because the capital investment. Who's his competitors going to be? Is he going to survive? And so I wouldn't have any understanding of his business model. But just if we think in the days of automation, and also augmentation. I mean, there's other things that we might see happening in restaurants where instead of there being an iron chef who is controlling their kitchen, we might see more of the Google Glass kind of augmented reality. So at a prep station, they would see certain meals come in and they would get the ingredients and guidance for how to make that specific thing. So it would be interesting to see which comes first, augmented reality for the prep staff or whether it's the automation of prep.
How do you see this like echoing to other industries? How do you see like this paradigm of when to automate, when to lay off, when to hire higher level professionals relates to other industries? Do you get it?
That's a great question, William, because what I think we're seeing is that people are readjusting their strategies, whether it's being driven by COVID-19 or just that technology is enabling them to improve their supply chains or change their supply chains and their distribution chains. So they're changing their strategies. And then as they change their strategies, what is really driving their business model? I think we're seeing a lot of experimentation, as this gentleman is doing in his restaurant in Toronto. People are trying things out, working out what works and what doesn't work. And as we know, it's all about data, that you're going to see. I can improve customer satisfaction. I can improve profitability. I can improve working conditions. So if this is my strategy, that I want to be the preferred place to work, or I want to be the best Chinese restaurant on the block, whatever it is, then you'll decide which strategy to use. So and which then affects which we simply put as build, buy, borrow, or bot. So are we going to build our talent? Are we going to say, well, these are our strategies, this is the talent we need? Are we going to take them from school, college, university, and then build them up to be appropriate? Or are we going to buy in the experts because I don't know how to cook Chinese food? I need to buy in some Chinese experts here to help me prepare great food. Or am I just need someone to help build the recipe and train my staff. And then, so I'll just kind of use them temporarily. So I'll bring in a consultant, do something temporarily, or am I going to automate it? And so now, in some communities, it'll be cheaper to use talent and people, human. And in other applications, it'll be cheaper to use robots. And it's a fairly simple spreadsheet calculation. There's a capital investment and yeah.
Yeah, here in Brazil, like you considering to have a bot, a robot, like those shows on the first video, that's incredibly pricey for us here. It's not that as pricey offshore, but for us here is very pricey. It's way cheaper to have a person doing the thing because labor is not as expensive here than it is on other countries. And then if you're a highly industrialized country like Canada or US, then it's more attractive. So of course, the business, every business will have to make this like this investigation. And I love your point, like there's these several layers and several ways to have your talent, and of course after you decide your strategy, you can decide then what type of implementation you're gonna go with. So yeah. Great answer.
Yeah, thanks so much. Yeah, and also when you decide your strategy, you can then say these are the things that need to be done. So if we take the example of the restaurant in Canada, he doesn't need to have waiters, so he doesn't have to recruit waiters and train waiters, But what he does need to do is train his kitchen staff on how to do the food delivery system, which looks fairly simple, but it's still. And then you've got the product design, which the manager had done. He said sustainable packaging, this is the menu item. So you've got a product or service design, and so you need someone to do that. You need someone to design. It happens to be the owner in this case. So you're defining all these tasks to match with the strategies. And now, am I going to give it to automation, or am I going to give it to a person?
And they have to do a lot of one-time use cleaning training as well, because everything there, like, they use one time and then clean it. So everything on the restaurant was like that. I remember one experience here in Brazil. I went to this burger place, and it's a very good burger place here. And this very modern way, they have tokens, so you can make the how you say it, like ask the food on the ask the food on the token, and they'll get inside. You pay there on the token. It's very easy, and there's not much waiting. And then when it's ready, they call you. You go to the counter and get your food, and then you can eat there. And most of the things are automatized. So you have like the ketchup goes out of a thing. You press a button, and then there's like the trays, everything. Most of the things are automatized. And one thing I found odd at first, I asked for a wine, like a glass of wine, and it didn't come in a glass of wine. It was a plastic of wine.
Nothing worse than a wine in a plastic glass.
No, it's horrible. And there's why in the hell these guys gave me wine in a plastic cup? That's ridiculous.
It's kind of sad.